Hey, welcome to Pocket Change. I am Candace Lott. I never know what to do with my hands while talking, so I'll keep them busy while doing laundry. Hang out with me while I ramble on about all kinds of topics and different seasons of life I've experienced. It's going to be loads of fun. Let's get to folding. Hey, happy whatever day it is you're listening to this. I said last week I was going to try really hard to get these put out on Mondays. Clearly, it's Tuesday of this week. I failed on that. But as any other mama will tell you that has kids in school, this time of year is rough. It's beautiful, it's rough, it's all the things. So if you have kiddos in school, then we are in the final 5 to 6 weeks, just depending on where your school schedule looks like, of the 2022-2023 school year coming to a close, which just seems insane. Like, to say that the 2023 school year is winding down. Does anyone else feel like it's still like 2020? Just me? Okay, cool. It's insane. So Emma is in 4th grade. So tonight, for example, we have a music program, which sure is going to be lovely. She's going to be playing a recorder and singing, which I don't know if your schools do recorders where your kiddos go, or if you did a recorder where you went to school. God bless those people that can play it well, because all I hear is hot cross buns, hash cross buns, whatever the rest of that song is. So it'll be fun. She's excited. She gets to get dressed up, picking her up early. Well, picking her up from carpool from school. So she has time to come home and shower. She was like, Mom, I need to make sure I shower. And I was like, yes, 9-year-old. Yes. Because I don't know about anyone else out there, but getting personal hygiene is not a top priority when it comes to the 9-year-old. Makes it's mega fun. And come summer, like, y'all, these kids need all the help they can get. They need all the showers they can get between their hormones and just their sweat and deodorant not being used or not being applied liberally comes fun. I know the carpools that happen in towards the end of school and right when school starts. Oh, that car smells so good when you get in. So good. So anyway, so Emma has a shindig tonight at her school, and then we have a field trip on Friday, and then next week, Mackenzie, who is going to be finishing her 10th grade year, we have an event Wednesday evening of next week at school, and then we have a field trip on Thursday, and you just mix all that up with STAR testing, which if you're listening to this outside of the state of Texas, you might be wondering what I'm talking about, which we do have a few listeners, I'm so excited, that are not a part of the U.S. territory. I found that so exciting. There's a listener in Germany, so yay! Welcome. So the STAR test is a state testing that, and honestly, I don't know if other states do it. I'm pretty confident they do. But it's state testing, and they do it for certain ages, and it's like an end of course, just to make sure that they feel that the student has learned what they need to learn in order to move on. So it's a pretty big deal. I feel like it's not the greatest for people that have. It's not. I don't like it at all, honestly. So yeah, it's a big stressor in our house for both of our kids because testing is stressful. It's just It's always stressful. So yeah, add that with all the end of the year hustle and bustle we are coming into. I made a post yesterday on my social media channels, and there's a picture of Emma who decided that she was just going to stop walking at the top of the stairs and just lay there at the top of the stairs. So I posted this picture of my child and her large, like, Snuggie situation. I was like, all right, parents, we're almost there. Almost there, because the next 5 to 6 weeks, again, depending on when you get out of school, they are so hectic and so busy. And for those of us who work and maintain all the things, it can get to be a little much. So if you're listening and you're hearing this part, just remember it's okay if, you don't make it to all the meetings or balls get dropped. It is okay. As long as you take time to enjoy the moments when you're there with the kids, like, for example, all these evening events and during the day events. I'm a real estate agent. So that's a little tricky, because just today I'll be going to check out a house with my client, and there's an offer deadline on it. And if my client likes it, wants to put an offer, that is going to make my day a little bit of a scheduling nightmare, because then I have to go do carpool and then find time to do my offer and get everything submitted and signed and all of that before the 5 p.m. deadline. A bit of a stressor. And then there was this one year I went with Mackenzie they did a medieval times field trip. And I was getting ready to start with another company. My start date had not popped up yet. So not on the payroll, not getting paid for it. And I went for a field trip for Mac Attack, and I remember there was a call that they highly encouraged everyone to be a part of, because it was like the account assignments. So it was a sales rep job, and you were finding out who your accounts were going to be. Well, I was like, I can't join it. I'm on a field trip, yada, yada, yada. Well, God love emails on phones and like the messaging systems on phones. Right after that call, I then got a million emails and messages about, okay, here's this information for this account. Here's this information for this account. Because it was already a company that I was familiar with. Anyhow, all that to say, Mackie remembers that as the field trip that I worked the whole time, and my phone was on. And that, dagger to the heart. Talk about mom guilt. It's a rough one. I don't have any answers to make mom guilt easy. I really don't. I really wish I was going to come on here and be like, all right, let's talk about mom guilt and why you shouldn't have it and why it should go away with this simple situation. No. If you're a new mom listening to this, I can't speak on behalf of dads, because I'm not a dad, I'm a mom. But if you're a new parent listening to this, if you're, a single parent trying to figure it out, wherever you are in your season of parenthooding, it's all hard. You might think, as they get older, they get easier. It's just a different version of hard. Whenever they're little, it is more like physically demanding, because they need you to do everything. And then as they get more independent, then they can do a little bit more, but then they make messes. So then it's physically demanding still to clean up from them getting their own cup of milk. Then, they turn into little sassy bops that walk around and excuse me, ask you what time it is, and you tell them, and they're like, actually, It's not 10 p.m. or 10 a.m. It's 9:57. Y'all, that is Emma does that all the time and she thinks it's so funny. So funny. It's not funny. Anyway. But yeah, mom it'll get you. Because I mean, I'm still like for the past 2 years, I've been able to make it to quite a bit of events. Just because I haven't been working full time, like consistently, and that was by choice. And there were still events I couldn't make or field trips I couldn't go on because, I didn't win the lottery, because it's a lottery situation to go on these field trips because you have so many parents that want to go, which is awesome. Love that. But yeah, it just doesn't, it doesn't get easier no matter what your situation. If you're a stay-at-home mom, if you're a working mom, you're going to have mom guilt, because as much as we want to be there for our kids 24/7, y'all, we need to not be there for our kids 24/7, in my opinion. I need time away from my kids and my husband and my family, and I don't need a ton of time because I am an extrovert. If you didn't know that, it wasn't obvious. I'm an extrovert, so my cup gets filled by spending time with others, like networking events. Oh my gosh. You can talk to Mike. Anytime I leave at a networking event and I call him, it sounds like I have taken some sort of drug, and I am just so excited to be a part of it. I love it. I love open houses. I love networking events. I love it all. I love learning about new people. So cool to me. That's not everyone's cup of tea. I have some of my best friends, actually, most of my best friends are introverts. So they do not get their cup filled by being with people at all. They enjoy a low key, at home, no one talking to them situation, which I can get like that from time to time, but most of the time I like people. So when it comes to like this end of year wrap up with everything going on, just here's my one piece of advice that I'm saying, because I'll have to do it again tonight as I'm at the event from Emma, and I'm sure I'll get a text message from a client. Be present with where you're at. iPhones have this beautiful thing where you can put it on do not disturb. And if that person messaging you or calling you has an iPhone, it'll let them know. That is a beautiful thing that I have started to utilize, that I never thought that was so silly. Like, why do I need to do that? No, I utilize it because it does let other people know I'm not available, because we live in such a time that, like, well, I sent you a message and I saw that you read it and you haven't responded. What are you doing? I saw you post on Instagram and you still haven't responded to my text message. Like, I'm guilty of that. I'm like, I see she's on Instagram right now. Her little dot's green. Read my message. Respond. I do it. Not gonna lie. So if your phone has that capability and you are in a position to do that, put your phone on do not disturb. Turn it off if you want, even. Like, then you can be like, whenever you go to an airplane and you land, and everyone turns on their phone again, and it's always I always get the greatest joy. It makes me very sad if I'm on a flight and I go to turn my phone on and I didn't miss not one notification. I'm like, nobody needed me? What? So whenever you turn your phone on and it's like, pew, 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 it's like, people need me. They need to talk to me. I get a lot of validation from others. So when people need me, that is what I'm needed in my life. Well, So yeah, so if you're at your events, you're into school, you're into your programs, I know when they're littler, they do like these big award ceremonies with the whole grade, whatever it is. If you're there, put your phone down, put it on silent. I mean, heck, even take a disposable camera instead of using your phone. Because that's one thing I have noticed is if I get my phone out to take a picture and I see notifications, all of a sudden I'm pulled out of that moment and I'm back into the notifications. So I don't know about y'all, but can we all just like try to bring back like the handheld camera? I know it's like cumbersome, but can we try to do that? I'll try to do that. I'll have to find my camera. It's a good camera. I just have to find it. Let's all join hands together and decide to take a handheld camera as opposed to our cell phones to our events. Let's bring back the camcorders. Like, did they all camcorders? Oh, those are great. But yeah, and breathe. I started to kind of get on myself last night. I was upset that I had not made time to do the podcast whenever I had specifically wedged out time yesterday in my schedule to do the podcast. And instead I did content posting. And then last night going to bed, I was mad at myself. I was like, why would I do that? No, I wasn't it. It was a rough day. I was having some feels with Mackenzie leaving at her school, leaving 10th grade and moving into 11th grade is a big deal. It changes the program they're in. She goes to an IB school. Don't ask me to say what that means. It's like just Google IB schools if you're really curious. It has a word that I can't even pronounce. So there's that. But yeah, because her end of year program it's called a grade 10 rising, and they get this tie. It's a cool tradition, and I love a good tradition. I think they're so cool. I think traditions are nifty. Anyway, so we have that coming up, and it just, every time I get an email or an announcement about it, I get in my feelings about it. And that's okay. So if you are experiencing some feelings because your kiddo, like maybe this is their first year of kindergarten and they're wrapping up, or this is your last year before they go into kindergarten next year. Whew. Those are hard ones, mamas. They're real hard. Or you know what? Maybe you're just like, thank God we made it through the year. We were making it through. We passed. Going on to the next grade. Like, whew, made it by on the skin of our teeth. We're there with our youngest. I need the testing to be over. I need to see that score. And I need to not be like, oh, you have to do some summer school now, kid. Whatever she needs during test week. I'm like, what do you need? You need to go to bed at 8. You need to wake up. You need me to wake up and fix you a full-fledged breakfast. And by me, I mean Mr. Mike, because I like sleep. What do you need? How can I help? I feel like this happens every season, like the holiday seasons, all that. There's always like, all right, mamas, come on, gird your loins. But I feel like with the end of school season, it's a different kind of busy, because usually it's us mamas taking on the brunt of the scheduling of who's doing this, who's doing what, when do we need to be at the school. All right, let's start the backwards math. If Emma has horse lessons at this time and Mackenzie has a meeting at the school at this time and this is the travel time, let's do the backwards math of saying, okay, what time do we need to be there? What time do we need to leave to be there to be to drop her at the house and then make it to McKinney to be at the school meeting. The backwards math game is a skill, and it should be listed on your resume. Like, what skills do you have? I can backwards math. What time is our meeting today? So what time do we need to make sure we have lunch delivered, set up, and ready to go for the meeting to start on time? Backwards math it. Man, I could whip that out in a heartbeat. It's like we're planning this trip to go to Maine in June, and it's going to be 14 days with the kids and my husband and my in-laws. I don't know if y'all heard me. 14 days in an RV up, and then we're staying in a home with no wheels, and then an RV back. I've been backwards mathing the shit out of that trip. I'm like, okay, so if we need to be in Maine to check in at this time, what time do we need to leave here? And what time do we need to leave here? Like, backwards mathing. So y'all get ready, because I'm still going to do my podcast, and I'm going to do them on the road. It'll be fun. We'll have some guest appearances. Get excited. So whenever you're finishing out this year, if your year's already come to a close, fantastic. I do feel like I have a few friends that their school like ends in a week or something. They go to a private school, and I don't understand it. But people don't understand our school, so it makes sense. So just try to be present in the thing you are doing then. If you're at work, be present at work. Try very hard not to be looking at the clock and freaking out. Set a timer on your phone that says, okay, you need to leave at this time. That way you don't have to keep like looking at your watch, looking at your phone, looking at your watch, looking at your phone. Put the phone on do not disturb if you're at work and you don't want to be disturbed. Like, you can even, there's even apps that like blocks off social media channels for you on your desktop. I don't know what they're called. I used to use them, but then I would go in and be like, oh, override. And that's especially hard because with my profession, content planning is a big part of it. So I'm on social media sites all day, which can be distracting. To my fellow mamas, my fellow parents, breathe. We've got this. Take all of the pictures, take them on your phone, take them on a disposable. Like, take time and just like, I do this thing where I know if I want a mental picture, I take a moment and I literally just like will look at whatever it is and then just breathe and close my eyes. It's not like I don't make a noise. Probably should though. And it's worked. I did it I have this one memory of whenever I was driving in the back seat of my cousin's car and her hair was flowing, and then her now husband was in the passenger seat, and we had just come from a ski. We were doing something and a song was playing, and I always wanted to remember that moment. Don't know why. And I did it, and I remember it. I did the same thing whenever my kids were born. In Ireland, I did it whenever Mike and I went to Ireland. Like, I've done it throughout the kids' lives for certain things. And for me, it like puts it in like a little memory bank in my brain somewhere. And whenever I look at them, I get to pull that memory up, and it's cool. But however you need to do that's going to serve you, if that means like writing it all on a calendar and being like, all right, everyone, just so everyone's clear, mom's going to be a shit show this week because I'm going to be in 5 places within a matter of 4 hours. So here we go. And if you have a partner, this is the biggest takeaway I've learned with being married to Mike. Ask him or her for help. We had our family meeting last night, and I noticed things were going to get tight tomorrow afternoon. And I was like, can you take Emmett to horse lessons? Like, I only had a 20-minute window to like drop, pick up, go, and then come back and drop, pick up, and go. So if you have a partner that is available to help, ask for help. Don't do any of that like, oh man, I'm going to be so tired after this day. I know it's hard. Trust me. Oh, I know it's hard. Don't ask for help, y'all. That's how I was always raised. Like, do it yourself. Do it yourself. No. It is a family unit. Ask for help. Have the kids make sure they set out their clothes for whatever event's happening. Like, if you have a kiddo that drives, there is no shame in my game in being like, Mackenzie, I need you to take him here and here and here because I got things to do over here. And it does not make sense to lose 45 minutes of drive time for that. So your takeaways for today, if anyone's paying attention or cares for me to re-list them. Whenever you're in the moment, be in the moment. Try not to be distracted as much as possible. Sit down and let someone else in your family know what the schedule looks like so it's not all on your head. Write it down. Write it down on a Post-it note. Write it down on a expo marker, calendar. Write it down. Make sure someone else knows what's going on. And, enjoy it. They're only in our homes for, on average, 19 years. Then they go off in the world. And they're no longer in our house. So for those 19 years, do the best you can. We got this. You guys are all incredible humans. You're all incredible parents. And, we got this. And then it's summer. And then this summer insanity happens. If, just be happy you're here. Enjoy the moment. And move your body. That's it. All right. Now y'all stick around because I have an ad coming up. And I know y'all want to listen to it.
Thank you for listening to Pocket Change. You can find me on the internet at Candice-Lott.com, on Instagram at Candice J. Lott, that's Lott with 2 T's, and on Facebook as Candice Lott. I look forward to meeting you. Have a great day.